Hi, my name's Sam. This is Sam again. Um, uh, so, as I've promised, I'll talk about how the point system actually works in this video. And I've actually done like more than one take, and so far I've been too verbose and I've been talking too much. So this video, I'll try to actually go through everything pretty quickly and without confusing you, hopefully. So and I'll skip over how to load game. That'll all be demoed during the lab. So I'm just going to demonstrate the goal point portion, so which is the win-lose condition and also the special features, the creative mechanisms. So let's go into a new game. Oops. Okay. New game, random seed. And the first thing you'll notice is that this game looks different from the last game shown in the last video, which is a good thing. And I showed in last video how you actually die if you just hit the wall or 4 times, or if you hit the wall, hit the other player or hit the other player's trail 4 times, you will actually lose the game because you run out of lives. So the point system works in the way so that if you don't lose all your lives, you'll still lose the game. Or win the game. I wanted to make it sound more positive, actually. But so uh, if you move around, each new tile you step on will give you 1 point. So that's excluding special tiles that I'll talk about later, which are actually my creative mechanisms, and also the other player's trail, which you cannot move onto. You can't even touch because it will lose lives. So the condition, so let me explain it using last video's hypothesis. So let's say the player of the fewer points is player 1, player of more points is player 2. So in this case, if player 1 if player 1 has 0 point or 1 point, then player 2 only needs 10 points to win the game. That's because, like, if the other player has already moved 10 steps and you or the other player hasn't even moved a single step or has only moved a single step, that's just a sign of giving up. And like, we don't really want the game to go on forever. So if you give up, or if you just don't move at all, like if you don't participate in the game, you might as well just lose. Same in life. I mean, yeah. So that's the condition for for the easiest way to win or lose is if the other player moves only 1 or 0, and you only have to move 10 in comparison to win. So the other cases are if player 1, the player of the fewer points, has between inclusively 2 points and 6 points, then player 2, the player of more points, only needs 5 times player 1's point at that given moment. So it could be 3 times 5, 4 times 5, 6 times 5, 2 times 5 even, and then plus 1 more point than that in order to win. So if player 1 has let's say 3 points, then player 2 needs 3 times 5, 15, 15 plus 1, 16 points to win. This is like where the game is really going. Like, it's really happening. And then as you play for longer, if player 1 has number of points between inclusively on the lower bound, 10 points between, inclusively on the upper bound. So if player 1 has more than 6 points, or less than or equal to 10 points, player 2 only needs 4 times player 1's points plus 1. And this is actually a pattern. So if player 1 has between 10 points and 20 points, then player 2 only needs 3 times that many points plus 1 point to win. As you can see, I'm trying to make it so that the game doesn't require the other player to have an insane number of tiles or points in order to win. Because if you have 5 times, let's say, the other player's points when the other player has 100 points, you need 500 points to counter that. That's like a lot. So I call this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the thing that's being multiplied to the number of points of the other player in order to calculate the winning player's points. I call it a growth factor, even though it's actually doing the opposite, it's decreasing. But anyways, the growth factor decreases by 1 every time it goes up, like the number of points possessed by the losing player goes up by a certain number of points. So I'll demo that in just a bit. But right now, I'll also tell you that if the game actually goes on for quite a bit of time, and the losing player, player 1, has more than 120 points, then player 2 only needs 31 or 30 more points plus 1 more point than player 1 to win. So if player 1 has 125 points, player 2 only needs 125 plus 30 plus 1, so 156 points to win. So it's not even a multiple anymore. It's just a flat out addition. And if player 1 has more than 170 points, then player 2 only needs 15 plus 1 more point, so 16 more points than player 1 to win. So if player 1 has 173 points, then player 2, sorry, player 2 will only need 173 plus 15 plus 1, which is 189 points to win. And in the case, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, I'm not even demoing because I really want to get through it so that you have a general idea, and then I can demo it and you'll see for yourself what it looks like. So if player 1 and player 2 both have more than 250 points, at which point the game is really, really long now, so this would take 2 to 3 minutes. This is supposed to be a short game. We don't want it to drag on. So then whoever has more lives will win. If let's say player 1 and 2 both have 251 points, because that's when it happens, when the actual live comparison happens for the to make the game end immediately. If at that point they have the same number of lives, they will actually have a tie. So there will be a tie screen instead of a win screen at the end. Okay, so now I'll show the different types of winning and losing conditions. So the easiest case, which is just walking 10 steps and the other player not walking a single step, and the player who walks 10 steps will win. So I'll show that, and then in the next video, well, I'll show that first. That's eeks 1, 2. You can see the points increasing here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Eeks is the winner in life. Pun intended again. So now I'll well, in the next video I'll show you how the player would need to win if he or she has a lot more points. I won't show every single case because that will take forever. So I'll just show a typical game, what it will look like, and you can see for yourself. And I've already described the actual win-loss condition calculation procedure to you, so you could model it in your head if that's not too hard. For other cases that will not be shown because of time constraints. And then we'll also show in the next video while my partner and I are playing the game, how the tiles, the special mechanisms, the special tiles work. See you in the next video.